Guys, welcome back to a new episode of DevDrawer. Today we're going to be going over how to create and manage a GitHub repo from the command line in Visual Studio Code. So today is going to be a pretty straightforward video. Basically, I have a project that I worked on maybe a few months ago where I created a WordPress plugin, but I have not added that to my GitHub profile for some reason. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to kind of go over how I add that to my GitHub repo and make it accessible for everybody else. So first thing I want to do inside of my GitHub profile, I'm going to create a new repository, and I'm going to call this, let's say, devdrawer-plugin. And then I'm going to add a simple description to it just so this is for me, so I know what this is actually about. So tutorial code for WordPress plugin, and make sure that's all good. And then I'm going to make mine public. You can have yours private, however you want to do it, but mine's public since you can download my code. And I'm also going to add a README file to it just so that it goes ahead and gets started with creating that. So now I'm going to create the repository, and now we're inside of this repo, and what I want to do is now switch over to my Visual Studio, and I'm going to add this to my GitHub repos on my local machine. I'm going to try to do as much of this through the terminal as I can in Visual Studio. So I'm going to open up my terminal here, and I'm going to create a folder. So let's do make dir, and let's just call it gh repos. And then I'm going to switch to this folder. So we're going to do cd gh repos, and now we're inside of this gh repos folder. And I'm also going to go ahead and open it up inside of Visual Studio so you can see what's happening as we're doing it. So let's open up that folder. There, go ahead and trust it. Alright, so let's go back to it. Now we're inside of GH repos. We have our folder open so we can see it. Now we need to switch back over to our browser. We're going to hit this code button and copy the clone URL. So in here we're going to do git clone, and then we're going to paste in that URL. And now, as you can see here, the DevDrawer plugin is now available to us inside of this repo. So inside the README, this is just using Markdown, so I'm just going to edit it to make it a little bit friendlier to use. So let's do DevDrawer sample plugin, and then tutorial code for WordPress plugin is basically a description that I put in there. So let me make it a little bit more descriptive. So tutorial code for WordPress plugin, how to create your own plugin in WordPress. Okay, so that should be enough for now. So if we go ahead and save this and come down here to our terminal, if we do git status, that'll tell us, oh wait, I need to switch over to it. So cd devdrawer-plugin, and now if we do git status, you can see that it's modified. Let me close this out for now, expand this up. You can see that the README has been modified, and then we can just commit this and then push it out. So we're going to do git commit -a -m, and then we're just going to add a commit message. So let's do initialize README, and let's do a git push so we can push it out, and then we'll switch back over to our browser. Once it's pushed out, we'll do a refresh, and we should be able to see our changes here. So now we're connected to this GitHub repo on our local machine as well as on the browser. So we can come over here and people can fork off of it, they can pull from it, whatever they need to do, but we can also make our changes to it as well. So I have these files that I created previously in another tutorial. I'll link it in the description or add it to one of the cards. But essentially this is where we went over and created a WordPress plugin. So I already have the code that I want to move over to it. We got the repo's been initialized. So what I want to do now is just add the files that are required for this repo. So I'm just going to copy and paste And if we look at this now, you can see this is all of the files that I just added. And also if we come over here to Git status, we can see that it's pulling down everything that we need in order for our plugin to be editable, be able to add it to the repo. So I'm going to go and do a Git Add, and then I'm just going to add everything that's currently there. So right now, if we do Git status again, it's going to be green instead of red because everything's been added. So now the only thing that we have to do that's left is just add these files to the GitHub, the repo on GitHub itself, so that it can be used. But essentially, this is, we created a repo, we created a folder, we switched over to that folder, we cloned that repo into that folder, we made our changes, and then we pushed it back out. So I mean, this is a pretty simple tutorial of how to create a repo on GitHub and be able to utilize it and manipulate it through the terminal inside of VS Code. So this one's going to be a pretty short one. The only thing we have left to really do is come over here and do a git commit -a -m, and then that message is going to be added plugin files for usage. And I'm just going to go ahead and push that out. And now if we come back over here, once that is done running through, if we refresh this, now we can see all of our files. Everything's been added. You can see how long ago it was added. So 3 minutes ago we initialized this README file. And I'll probably end up going in here and editing this some more, but for right now, I mean, this is the tutorial. It's pretty easy to create and manage a repo, and you can kind of recreate what we've done anywhere on your local machine, on a different machine, as long as you have access to be able to pull and push to that folder that's created on your GitHub profile. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was a very quick tutorial, and yeah, so I think that'll be it for this one, and I will talk to you later.